All right, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Ed Blair, and this is the Ed Blair Podcast. Hope you all had a good weekend. Today, we got one of New York's finest MCs on the show, straight from the BX Bronx. This special cat went to the same high school as Africa Bambaataa. The school is a musical powerhouse. He got some educational background at New York University Law School. This brother is definitely a force to be reckoned with. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Mickey Factz on the show today. How you doing, brother?
It's Mickey. What's going on, man?
Not too much, man. Just living life, taking it one day at a time, and staying out the way.
As you should. That's a good thing.
Facts. Now, happy belated birthday, man. I saw it was your birthday a few weeks ago. Did you do some celebrating despite COVID?
It was kind of hard to, New York was at the time still dealing with a lot of uncertainty, and we were beginning to open up, I think, phase 2 or phase 3. So it was not a lot that we could do. My wife attempted to do some nice things for me, like go to the park and have a picnic, but COVID on top of not being able to kind of move around with our son, it's a little difficult. So I understand that it wasn't what I expected it to be, but I made it to another year, and it's a very nice day. It was like, okay, well, back to the grind,
Definitely understandable. I'm in Michigan, so it's a little bit more lenient here than it would be there. Kalamazoo, Michigan is a smaller city, so our restrictions aren't as tight as y'all's. But the year was 2005. I was in 8th grade, by the way. You just started your journey in hip hop. What inspired you to pick up a pen and pad and start creating songs?
It was a hobby at first, At one point, I was doing parodies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. But, people ask me this question, but I don't think I've ever gone this deep into it. So, I was doing parodies of Jay-Z songs at the time. Parodies was kind of a thing because of Sporty Thieves when they did the Pigeons.
Okay, yeah.
And the No Scrubs.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing with a couple of Jay-Z records and things like that. And then, that was like my freshman year in high school. And then the following year, I decided that I was going to, start writing on my own stuff, you know what I'm saying? And I started writing my own stuff, man, and it came out pretty good, and then from there, I just was treating it like a hobby. I didn't really think that it was something that could potentially happen. I didn't, I had dreams of being an artist or a rapper, but I never knew what it took. I didn't have the slightest clue about what I would do with my money or how to even make money. So it was just really, just kids being kids with no care in the world. Yeah, you got to consider your future and things of that nature. But at that point, it was just like, man, I'm just enjoying life and having fun. And then, things progressed from high school on,
That's what's up, man. And I could totally relate to that. I used to do a lot of remixes and stuff when I first started MySpace days. And I used to always slap them on my MySpace page and go to school like, hey, I did this remix to such and such and da-da-da-da. And back then, I couldn't afford to record in a real studio because I was only 12, 13. So I had the computer mic plugged in the microphone port, and then I used to use sound record from the hard drive and record my little remixes. It sound very shitty, but hey, right. I thought I was doing something. But yeah, the year was 2006. You did a mixtape called In Search Of. It was inspired by NERD's album, self-entitled In Search Of. Pharrell caught wind of that project. What was the motivation behind you making that mixtape? And then did Pharrell reach out to you personally?
So, In Search of the NERD was a project that my A&R at the time, Steve-O, shout out to Steve-O, he wanted me to rap over NERD beats.
Okay.
And the only person who had rapped over those beats was Lupe. He had to get the girl of one of those records. So I was kind of against it because I was already wearing glasses and he was wearing glasses. So there's similarity. To me at that time, quote unquote, biting was a very serious offense in hip hop.
Yeah.
They didn't want to come across as someone who was, biting or attempting to ride a wave. Right. But he convinced that it wouldn't matter. And I went ahead and created this crazy project, 14 songs. And, Pharrell, this was 2006. Pharrell didn't hear it. Well, I didn't speak to Pharrell about it until 2009.
Okay.
And, when I asked him about it, he's like, yeah, man, I heard the record. And, we put, one of the songs on the Glow in the Dark mixtape, and, I asked him what his favorite record was. He was like, Locked Away. And I was just like, whoa, we really did listen to this project. You know what I'm saying? So, I appreciated what he did and how it worked for me at that time.
That's what's up, man. So Flashback Volume 1, Back to the Future, you pay homage to all your favorite artists and recorded about 40 tracks alone for that joint. Who's your top 5 MCs?
Oh, man, top five MCs is crazy. At this point in the game, man, I kind of like to add newer people into that list. So I got Big Daddy in there for me, personally. Royce the 5'9".
Okay.
So Big Daddy Kane, Royce, Lupe, Black Thought, and Biggie.
All right. I can't argue with you on that. Not at all.
How did I wanted to give the newer MCs, like, I feel like this era, these guys are not getting that chance to, be in a lot of guys' top fives, which I decided to, add somebody from the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s.
Yeah, definitely give them all flavors. So in 2006, you did something that was unheard of, and you leaked songs once a week on MySpace for about 17 weeks. And then you also did a tribute to Sean Bell, who was murdered by New York police officers. Were you doing the leaks leading up to your debut album to build a buzz for it? And then also, how has things changed with the New York Police Department, if anything has changed from then until now?
That's interesting. When I first heard that song, not first heard the song. When I first heard the news, I was very distraught about it.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like, there was a lot of MCs that were doing tribute songs to Sean Bell at the time.
Okay.
They were expressing their anger in New York City. And some people felt like some of it felt warranted and others felt contrived.
Yeah, like they was trying to get some attention from it.
Yeah. So, I waited a little while, and then, I decided that I wanted to tell his story from his shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And, I kind of painted this picture, and the picture that I painted was very graphic, very detailed, very poignant. And, for me, I wanted it to be one of those things where people, it could resonate with people, right? So the chorus is 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, 4, 48, 49, 50 shot more. Black man, white cop. This is my song, my story, my life, my death. I'm Sean, right? Like I wanted it to feel personal. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to, random guys just spitting bars about it. You know what I'm saying? So I created it, and it, it was a very moving record. And then the next thing 13 years later, actually 15 years later, we're still going through that. Well, 13 years. I think that happened in 2007. 13 years later, we're still going through craziness, as you can see with George Floyd, Eric Garner. So many crazy things that happen with the New York Police Department and police departments all across the country in terms of racial inequality, being sacrificed being sacrificed as a Black man for the police department has always been, something that the Black community has had to deal with. And I think finally seeing this on camera with the footage with the George Floyd situation has come to a boiling point. And, hopefully there's some changes that happen, in terms of the police department's methods and tactics when it comes to policing. They're supposed to protect, not murder.
Definitely, I agree. Now, when you were doing the leaks, though, was it a build up to build a buzz for your debut album, or was it just something you just did like off the love of like dropping music?
It was just off the love of dropping music, and then we tried to put a plan together around this promotion of putting out songs and then dropping this one big project. But we had lofty thoughts, and back then selling music without a record deal was a little difficult. We didn't really trust artists like that to do that, and we was already giving out free songs, so the customer was kind of already used to getting free music. So it was a little difficult and challenging for us to navigate through that kind of portal. But for me, I personally think, and at that time, it was one of the greatest times in my life. It was just, creating nonstop, trying to be as diverse as possible, trying to be as entertaining as possible. And people kind of gravitated towards it. That leak series, when you look back at it, the people that I had on those two projects, because it was, I did it for 34 weeks.
Okay.
And the people I had featured on it was Travis McCoy from Gym Class Heroes. I had Drake on the record. I had not Cuddy, but me and Cuddy did a record during that time. We had Knowledge from Kids of the Hall on there. We had Theophilus London on there. Precise was producing a lot of those records. We had Tanya Morgan on there. Jesse Boykins was on like 3 or 4 songs on those projects. So it was just one of those times where it was like, we were just having fun. And a lot of these guys are household names now, and we were just creating. It wasn't about trying to, do it for this bigger cause. We were just creating. And then, we were like, we should, market this around an album. But we never got around to dropping anything because we didn't know what the climate of hip hop was going to be at that time.
Got you. Well, it's big that you were still able to work with those household names too, man. So in 2008, it seemed like a good year for you. Your name was buzzing. People who wasn't hip to Mickey Factz started to take notice to your hard work ethic. You had a great quality and quantity of music at the time. Then you did, Leaks Volume 2, linked with all the heavy hitters that you mentioned. How did those collaborations come about? And then did you foresee Drake becoming what he is today back then?
I was a very big fan of Drake before me and him even did a record. I listened to his stuff that was on MySpace. Mm-hmm. He had a song called "Replacement Girl" with Trey Songz at the time. That was just really buzzing, really, really, really crazy. And I thought, he was always going to be dope. I didn't think he was going to be as big as he was now, as big as he is now. I definitely didn't think that. But I did think he was going to be, very, very popular. A lot of the features that I got, people were just reaching out. I was, one of the hottest artists at the time in 2008. It was my coming out party, so much so that I was in pretty much every magazine every single month on the newsstands, and it was a great time for me, I appreciated that time. It was eye-opening for me.
That's what's up, man. So now we got Rockin' and Rollin' as your first single. You shot a visual for it. It debuted on MTV. It featured the Cool Kids. How'd you feel at the time that this was happening? And then what was the opportunity that led to XXL putting you in the 09 freshman class?
Yeah, that video that we shot, I was just talking about this with my man the other day. I was like, we shot that video. We did that song on like a Monday and shot the video on Tuesday. And we performed it that same Monday night. Mm. It was crazy because we didn't even know the words to the song. But we made it happen regardless. And, that buzz from putting out a song every week. On top of that, I was in every magazine. I had the video with the Cool Kids out. I was on every blog. It was just kind of undeniable for me to be on that cover. When they went to choose who's going to be on the cover, the editor-in-chief, Dayton Thomas, he told me that I was the number 2 choice to be on the cover.
That's what's up.
At Wale at 1, and then it was like, yo, we got to get Mickey on there as number 2. Like, I'm saying? Like, that's how popular I was at that time. So, it was an incredible experience, just we collect these magazines not knowing we're going to ever be in them. It's just at that time, this is before, because there's no more magazines for hip hop like that, really. So that was like our go-to, before social media. And, you had to read about it and hear and read their words and kind of, fall in love with them from that vantage point.
Yeah.
So, I never thought I would be in the source. I never thought I would be in the double XL, let alone the cover. But before I was even in the magazine, like I was in the magazine like twice before I was even on the cover, like back to back to back. It was crazy.
That's what's up.
You know what I mean? Like, so, I had made the show and prove section. And then they had interviewed me for something else. And then I was on the cover. Like, it was just like, wow, like this is incredible that I'm being recognized, as this artist, from New York City. It was 3 of us on that cover that year, me, Charles, and Corey.
Yeah.
And just to be on that cover, it's hold on, I think I got the cover. Yeah, I think I got the cover right here.
Boom.
You know what I'm saying? So, that's one of my crowning achievements. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, I got it posterized. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, as you should. But yeah, since we're on the topic, let's talk a little more about the Double XL. So the class of 09 had you, Wale, B.O.B., Charles Hamilton, Asher Roth, Corey Guns, Blue, Ace Hood, Currency, Kid Cudi. I mean, that's a new wave right there in the middle of the shift that was taking place. This is when the internet started to become a staple in hip hop, and that was the beginning of the streaming days. What was it like being a part of that Brotherhood and being on the cover, and then also dropping that cold freestyle that proved you was slicker than a clitoris filled with syphilis?
Oh, incredible! Oh man! Well, first of all,
I had to quote you, by the way.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, honestly, man, like that was an experience that's hard to kind of quantify, right? Because again, I was collecting magazines for, I want to say, since 2001, 2002, Double XL and the Source, reading up, getting hip to what was going on. I still have like tons of magazines in my other room, and to get that call, like I almost started crying because, again, this is the second time that they did that cover. The first time that they did the cover was the Lupe cover. It was Lupe, Papoose, I think Joel Ortiz was on there. It was a couple other guys. Crooked Eye was on there. So like it was, that was a wild cover. You know what I'm saying? And then our cover kind of shifted from that cover like that. It was just like, this is a breath of fresh air of new energy, and we were all young. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, this is what the people were listening to. And what was the second part of that question? I got so caught up in that.
I said, let me go back. I was just saying, what was it like being part of the Brotherhood as well? And then, like meeting them at the shoot and everything, collabing with them and stuff like that, kicking it with them. Like, what was it like being a part of that Brotherhood?
I mean, it was rough, because I had issues with Cudi and Wale at the time. So, we weren't really speaking. So I was the only one who had issues with everybody.
Okay.
I wasn't a problematic artist. It's just, things happen.
Right. Even on the local level, locals have issues with artists too. I mean, it's going to happen at some point.
Right. And, I just worked. I still had a good time. I met Blue, who was very quiet at the time, but me and him really hit it off. Me and Corey, I knew Corey already. Me and Charles, he was playing the fence with both Wale and Cudi and me, so it was a little weird. Asher was cool as hell. Currency, that was my man, cool as hell. Ace Hood was quiet, B.O.B., that was my guy. So, it was a great day, and I knew when the cover dropped, it was going to be love. So,
That's
right.
gotta, you know, when you got business involved, you gotta keep the business first and keep the personal after, you know, second. So the fact y'all got through it and it wasn't no crazy issues is big. Now, let's see here. We already talked about, you know, the brotherhood and everything. Did you think that your classmates would be as far as they are 11 years later? Like, are you proud of everybody? And like, what did you foresee for your classmates?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody, like, you know, people have this preconceived notion of what success is. So
Mm-hmm.
people try to say, you know, some of us that are on the cover aren't successful, but everybody that's on the cover is living off of their music. You know,
Right.
like I'm still living off of my music. I take care of my family with my music. You know, B.O.B. is still living off of his music. Asher just put out something not too long ago. Wale is doing incredible on the road. Charles, you know, he may have some issues here and there, but he's still, you know, making a living off of his music. Corey is doing Corey. Blue is incredible still. He just put a project out with Exile not too long ago.
Yeah, it was nice too.
Yep. Currency, you know, Currency's Currency. Mr. Consistent. Cuddy, you know, one of the top stars from that cover. And Ace Hood, Ace Hood, created that quote unquote flow that everybody likes to use in the Migos, etc. Like that was him. So you have to kind of give everybody on that cover credit because we're still living off of, the talent that we created still to this day, 10 years later, 10, 11 years later.
Yeah, and a lot of people think success as an artist is like having the mansions, all the foreigns and sports cars and a few M's in the bank account. But a lot of people don't think about it like realistically, if you could live off your music and you got, nice royalties coming in quarterly and you're able to book shows and get paid for them and go on the road and people still checking for you, like that's successful as well. Like that's the goal as an artist, like to not have to punch the clock, work a 9 to 5 and have so many side hustles along with that 9 to 5 to, the music is speaking for itself at that point.
Right. I agree. 100%.
So now you got featured on Fight Night Round 4 with your track Rocker. Then you signed to the independent label Battery Records that had distribution from Jive at the time. With that 1-2 punch, you couldn't really lose. What was it like being signed with major distribution, and then how did your record deal come about?
So I'm gonna start with Rocker, and then I'm gonna get into the label deal. So Rocker was a record that I had did with the Ilphonics. Shout out to those guys. I just was doing a record one day. I was into the rock style of music, and I sent it over to EA, my homegirl, Rafaela Lima. Shout out to her. And she was like, "I love this song. Let's put it on Fight Night." And I was like, "Okay." Let's put that on Fight Night. You know what I'm saying? And that was like my first musical placement. And then I started sending her more records, and I started doing a lot of songs with EA Sport after that. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to EA. They blocked me when I was a teen. I was sending them music all the time, and it got to a point where they was like, "Don't send nothing else." Blocked.
Oh, man.
Hey, but at least I had the plug.
So then I did the deal with Jive, Battery Jive Records. So I had the handlings of a small label with the major distribution of a big label. So, I was on Jive Records, but I was also on Battery Records. But I was able to utilize, everybody on Jive Records. And, it was fun. It was good. We got Paradise. It got 2 million views, 1 million views in a week at that time, or maybe like 800,000 in a week. And that was like, people were excited, to see what was going to come next. We did the Marsha Ambrosia record after that. I had a B.O.B. record. This is when B.O.B. had that big, he had the Airplanes record, and me and him did a record. So like it was, I was getting the alley-oops that I was supposed to get, but then the label folded because it got bought out. And then I got moved to RCA.
Gotcha. Okay. So All City Chess Club was a super group, just like Slaughterhouse. So big up to y'all in Slaughterhouse. The group had yourself, Blue, Asher Roth, Charles Hamilton, J. Cole, B.O.B., Lupe Fiasco, Diggy Simmons, and Wale. Was there ever an album completed, and can we look forward to you ever coming together to drop maybe some singles or some EPs or something in the near future?
There was never an album completed. There's only one song done called "I'm Beaming," the remix.
Mm-hmm.
Great song, and I don't think that's a thing that'll ever happen because these guys, you know, everybody's schedule's crazy. So trying to make something like that happen probably will never happen. I think also egos are one of the things that is, you know, just difficult to shift through. But anything is possible, you know. It's just a matter of everybody wanting to be a part. You know, like it's everybody's schedule is mayhem, and you know, people just want to do their own thing sometimes. And not knowing that when you come together, you create magic. When the strength in numbers, you know what I'm saying? That's my whole thing. It's strength in numbers, and if there were more people that had the mindset like the fans did, you know, it would be a real thing, you know.
Hey, I agree. Now, I will say this. This is just my 2 cents. If Slaughterhouse happens to reunite at Coachella and drop an album, All City Chess Club, yeah, I feel like y'all got to at that point if Slaughterhouse could do it.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so I'm Better Than You drops in 2010, which is the year I graduated. Shout out to Obama. He spoke at my graduation. Case Central Dub 10. Anyway, you had a bunch of songs, but what stood out to me was that you had production from Big Crit before he was Crit. How did you and Crizzle link?
You know, Crit was he was getting scouted by Cinematic Records with Johnny Shikes.
Okay.
And at that time we were doing work with Cinematic and Dame Dash. So, you know, I remember my A&R at the time, he brought me his music.
Okay.
And he was like, yo, you know, what you think of this guy? Like, this guy's really talented. I want to, you know, do something with him.
Did he bring you Crit was here?
Yeah, he played. I think that was the first song he played me, actually.
That's what's up.
Not Crit was here, but like the lead song on that project, that was the first song he played me because it was already done.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I thought he was incredible, and I was like, yeah, I want to work with him. And we wound up doing that record. He produced it, and he was on the chorus. You know, but it's one of those things where I kind of want to do another record with him, where he's rapping and I'm rapping, and we kind of, you know, make something even crazier. That's my guy.
Yeah, man. Because if you think about it now, like, he's evolved, and like his new music compared to the music when he first came out is like on a whole nother level. So like, I could definitely see y'all coming together, and I feel like it probably would be way more magical than what it was the first time. Because, you know, back then he was kind of getting his feet wet, but now he got the sauce right now.
Yeah, no, he's fire. Like, that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's incredible. And you know, I would love to do something else with him. You know, it would be an honor. You know, that's my guy. I've known him for a long time. You know what I'm saying? So something like that happening is something that can happen. You know what I mean?
That's what's up. And he independent now too, so you know, it might be a better, you know, situation this time around. Now, you toured with Big Sean. You worked with a lot of greats like Styles P, Sahida Prince, Emilio Rojas. I'm gonna just name them all because I like talking that shit. You got Elzai, Jesse Boykins, Lauryn Hill, Smoke DZA, Fat Joe, Bun B, Chester French, Key Wayne, Fonte, Mac Wilds, you already named Royce, Nick Grant, Graf, Sky Zoo, Daylight, Tony Williams, and then this fella right here named Ed Blair. How does it feel to have such high caliber features and productions? And is there anyone you have interest in working with that you haven't collaborated with yet?
Yeah, I got like a list of like 15 people currently. Black Thought, Common, Rick Ross, Bink, the producer, 2 Chainz. I don't know if I said Sean yet, but Big Sean, Benny the Butcher, Conway, Westside Gun, Rock Marcy, Rhapsody, Lady London. I think that's about it, man. You know, that's like the short list. That's like the final list for me. Like, I'm trying to check everybody off before I hang this thing up called hip hop. You know.
I feel you. So you started in a Honda commercial. You was also a spokesperson for the Accord that came out at the time. How'd you
Yeah.
land that deal, and then did it help your brand the way you wanted it to?
Oh yeah, man. I auditioned for that right before the cover of the Double XL, and they just kind of went with the vibe that I was giving off. I wasn't a flashy kind of guy. I was fly, but I wasn't flashy. So they wanted, somebody that was congruent to what the car was. When you think about a Honda Accord, it stays on gas. It's reliable. You can have that car for 10, 15 years. And they figured, this would align very well with the brand that Mickey Factz has. And, it worked very well. I made a lot of money with them, and I did a lot of things with them. It was a great partnership that I did with those guys.
That's what's up, man. Now, a lot of people may not know, but you also were a battle rapper at one point in your career. Do you prefer battling over creating and making albums?
No, I definitely prefer making music more than battling. Battling is very tough to do. I've only done like 2 or 3 of them, as opposed to like the countless mixtapes and projects I put out. It's just a completely different experience. You know what I'm saying? Like the preparation for it and the constant, scrutiny and things like that the fans give too much. So
it's a lot of politics in battle rap.
Yeah. So I'm just glad, when I did it, and I had fun when I did it.
That's what's up, man. That's all that matters, is that you had fun and you got to experience it the way you wanted to. Now, do you have plans to tap into like acting or anything like anytime soon?
Yeah, so I'm going to be in a movie that's going to be premiering on Netflix in October. It's called The 40-Year-Old Version. It was shot by Rada Blank.
Okay.
Excuse me. I think it was funded by Rada Blank and shot by Rada Blank. So it's a great movie. It'll be out in October. And I'm supposed to be doing some things for Broadway as well. So we'll see how that goes.
That's what's up, man. Moving on up. Now, do you have your own record label? And if so, are you looking to sign new talent? That's the Achievers, right? That's your label?
No. I don't have a label. My Achievers are my support system. Support my fan base. I call them that because I want them to achieve the same way that I achieve. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's what's up, man. Now, let's see. So I already congratulated you on your newborn. How are you balancing being a well-known artist as well as being a father?
Man, it's tough because I have a brand new son, so I'm trying to delegate my time to him and watching him grow and watching him become this new person. You know what I'm saying? It's like relearning everything all over again. So that's incredible. On top of trying to elevate my skill set as I get older, because when you get older, you get wiser. You're supposed to get sharper. So right. I'm definitely taking the correct steps to get as sharp as I can, as I'm creating this music, because I want it to be timeless. Like that's my whole thing. I'm all about legacy and very big on legacy. So, for me, that's the most important thing when it comes to this music. And I'm trying to incorporate me and him, his and I relationship in my music. I'm trying to incorporate that a little bit more because we are growing together as a family in that type of my thing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, definitely understand that, man. And I look forward to tapping into that journey soon here myself. And so you were on Conglomerate under Busta Rhymes at one point, right?
No, I don't know why people think I was signed to Conglomerate, but I was not ever signed to Conglomerate. That never happened.
Okay. So, did you ever meet Bust? Like, what was he like if you did, have a chance to meet him?
Yeah, I met Busta when I did the BET Cypher. That was the first time I met Busta Rhymes. And it was an incredible experience. Somebody I had, prior to doing that freestyle, I was listening to him for 16 years. You know what I'm saying? And he considers me a peer. He played me Extinction Level Event 2. I think it was 2 years ago, and it was crazy when I heard it 2 years ago. So I'm just waiting for him to put that out. And, I just appreciate his support and his love for hip hop and the culture. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy.
That's what's up, man. I'm happy that y'all was able to still connect, even though you wasn't on the label. And, you spoke of that project. So, Bus, if you listening, go ahead and drop that for the fans one time. Now,
yes, sir.
New York, Before I get this far, being around Bus, did he ever introduce you to like any tribe members, or did you meet anybody from a Tribe Called Quest?
Yeah. QTip was my mentor for a little while in 2012. You know, we talking to QTip for like a good year, 2 years, actually 3 years. Me and him were just always, you know, talking, going back and forth, and sharing ideas and working very well with each other. You know, so. You know, that's my big bro. You know, I haven't spoken to him in a while, but, you know, I actually need to reach out to him and see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? But aside from that, you know, that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? Nothing but love to Tip. You know?
That's what's up, man. Shout out to QTip and the Tribe Called Quest, RP Fife Dog. So New York has a lot of great MCs. Who would you say your top 10 New York MCs are?
Top 10 of all time?
Mm-hmm.
Of all time, Biggie, Nas, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One, Busta Rhymes, Jay-Z. This is not in order, by the way. Redman from Jersey. Ghostface Killer, Raekwon. I'll say Method Man.
Okay.
So your top 10.
Can't really argue that either. Them all lyrical assassins right there. So
put Jadakiss, and Styles. Put Jadakiss and Styles in there, man. You gotta take somebody out. I don't feel like taking people out right now, but Jadakiss and Styles gotta be in there, G.
Okay. You know I mean, you can have a couple come off the bench sometimes. It's all right.
Let's do it again. So Biggie, Nas, Rakim, Kane, Jadakiss, Styles, Ghostface, Jay, Ray. Yeah, that's good. I'm just leave it at 9. Make a fight for the 10th spot.
That's what's up, man. So, you know, I definitely appreciate you for coming on the show, fam. And I also appreciate you for giving me wise words and sharing insight whenever I do reach out on Messenger to you. Also, is there anything you want to promote? And then where can our listeners find you on social media?
Yeah, man. Check out my record, Hugo. It came out on Friday. You know, it's a really dope, upbeat record with my guy Fly Dan Tony. Shout out to us because we are Black Dahlia. And also find me on twitter.com/Mickey Factz, MICKEYFACTZ. Instagram, Mickey.Factz, and Facebook.com/official Mickey Factz.
All right, that's what's up. And then also, you know, I definitely look forward to doing more collabs with you. And then you're more than welcome to come back on the pod anytime. Do you have any merch or anything you want to promote?
MickeyFactz.com. Get everything you need right there, baby.
Facts. Well, I appreciate you again, man. And you stay up, and God bless you, the wife, and the kid, your son.
My God. Much love.
All right, peace.